Some mornings you wake up with a quiet clarity. You see the steps laid out, the consequences arranged like chess pieces. The future speaks to you, not with excitement, but with responsibility, and for a second you're ready to move. But then, a sudden fog. A voice you didn't summon says, "Not now." It whispers promises of comfort, distraction, just 5 more minutes. You feel your body sink back into softness, while another part of you screams silently behind your eyes. This is not laziness. This is a civil war with no audience. A loyal planner, bound to a reckless ghost. They live inside the same skull, pulling at the same levers. One reaching toward a horizon that always retreats, the other chasing sparks that die before they warm the air. And the strangest part is, you don't know which one is really you. You feel like a contradiction that never resolves. There's a version of you that dreams in schedules and finish lines. Who builds quiet systems for becoming the person you want to be? This part has tasted the quiet pride of discipline, has imagined waking up one day to a life that finally fits. And yet, just as often, there's another presence. Impulsive, restless, craving ease over effort. It doesn't sabotage you out of malice. It simply doesn't care about later. Only now. This isn't about weakness. It's about being split in two. You make promises to yourself and break them before the ink dries. You plan your week and then watch it slip through your hands. And somewhere in that tug of war, your self-trust wears thin. The rationale, you looks on with shame. The immediate you shrugs, untouched. You live inside a house where the owner and the squatter are the same person. This is about internal conflict. The quiet ache of feeling unreliable to your own intentions. Let's understand this together. They trained you to chase results, but never taught you how to rest. Your value is measured in tasks completed, not truths confronted. So even when you're drowning in noise, stopping feels like failure. You scroll, you scroll, you scroll, but nothing inside you moves. The world doesn't punish cake, it rewards performance. You wear your to-do list like armor. Smile when you're crumbling. Answer emails at midnight because you're lucky to be needed. They don't care if you're breaking, as long as you look productive. Time isn't yours anymore. Your calendar owns your body. Your feed decides your mood. The clock doesn't tick. It barks. And every quiet moment feels like you're falling behind. Even your pleasures are curated for efficiency, so rest must be optimized. Leisure becomes content. You can't even watch a movie without checking how long it is. Everything is a countdown, even joy. This isn't how it was supposed to feel, but no one ever stops the machine. They just teach you how to function inside it. You wake up tired, and already behind, not because the day is too full, but because your mind is. There's a version of you that whispers, "Get up," and another that says, "Well, what's the point?" You call it laziness. But it's grief. Grief for all the hours you've spent being someone you're not. You want clarity, but you cling to the blur, because in the blur you can't be blamed for not arriving. You sit still, but your thoughts don't. They sprint in loops, shouting deadlines, forgotten texts, broken promises to yourself. You promised you'd change. You didn't. You said you'd try again. You didn't. You avoid mirrors, not because of how you look, but because of what you might see. The half-built self, the unfinished plan, the dream you downsized to make room for fear. You talk about potential like it's a stranger who ghosted you, like you were once close, but now they won't return your calls. Sometimes you plan a new version of yourself just to feel something. You make schedules you know you'll break. You set alarms you won't wake up to. You buy books you'll never open. You crave progress, but you fear process. Because process means facing the parts of you that stalled. It means grieving the time you lost pretending to be fine. You know what you want, you always have. But knowing burns when doing feels impossible. So you distract, you joke, you snack, you clean, you scroll, you scroll, you scroll. Your joy feels conditional, like you have to earn it. Like rest is only allowed after you bleed. But you're bleeding anyway, and still you don't rest. Because some part of you believes this pain is deserved. That you failed at becoming who you were supposed to be. There is a war inside you, and both sides wear your face. You are exhausted, not from doing too much, but from constantly deciding who you're supposed to be. And still you wait for the moment it all aligns. The motivation, the energy, the spark. But that moment never comes, just more noise, more shame, more stillness that isn't peace. You sit with it. Like a weight you've stopped trying to lift, not gone, not healed, just there. And maybe that's the worst part, that you've gotten used to it. There is a moment after the noise, when everything feels heavy, but not sharp anymore. A kind of quiet ache, not screaming, just present. You are not moving. But something inside you is noticing the way your chest rises when you remember to breathe, how your hands are still here, even when your thoughts aren't. You begin to wonder, what if the blur isn't safety, but distance? And what if coming closer doesn't have to hurt? The war hasn't ended. But maybe you've stopped firing. Maybe there's a kind of truth in letting both voices sit beside you without needing one to win. You're not lost, just quiet. And maybe that's allowed. What if stillness is not empty, but full, of everything you've been too loud to feel? There is no spark here. No grand turning point, only a breath. And then another, you haven't figured it out, but you're not pretending anymore. And that, for now, is enough to stay with. The tug is softer now, not the shout of impulse, nor the lecture of reason, just a small tilt inside your ribs, a shift. You could stand, not to go anywhere, just to feel your weight greet the floor again, or touch the edge of your desk, that familiar surface where half-dreams have lingered, waiting for your return, or hum a sound with no melody, no words, just to prove that silence doesn't own you. You don't have to choose who's in charge tonight. Just open a door, Shen, even a mental one, and watch what steps through. Let your shadow stretch without naming it. Let the moment breathe without rushing the next. There is movement here. Small, unsure, but yours. You said you'd rest, but you weren't tired. You were tangled. And sleep was the cleanest excuse. You looked at the thing once, then closed the tab, then reorganized your folders, your inbox, your kitchen drawer, each act a polished later. Each later, a quiet retreat. You told yourself you needed more clarity, more energy, more time. But what you really needed was to stop needing perfect conditions. You walked around the thought. You joked it off. You fed the monkey a reel, a snack, a scroll, and called it a break. But it broke nothing. Only delayed the question pressing behind your eyes. There are moments you almost moved. When the chair creaked just right, when the light fell across your notebook, when your hand hovered over the start. But almost became always. And it always became you. Not a failure, it's just a pattern. Not shame, and just recognition. You were never choosing nothing. You were choosing not yet, again and again, until not yet became who you are when no one's watching. And now the room is still, the breath is shallow, the next second hasn't started yet, but it will, and you're the only one who'll know if you were there when it did. Some days end the same way they began, not with answers, but with a strange kind of understanding. The fog never fully clears, but you learn to walk in it. You start to notice the difference between the voice that avoids and the voice that cares. Not all resistance is rebellion. Sometimes it's fear dressed as freedom. You feel them both still there. The dreamer of better tomorrows and the child of this restless moment. They argue, they pull, they plead, but tonight maybe they don't need to agree. Maybe you can just sit between them, listen, without picking sides. Because the truth is, you are not one or the other. You are the space where they meet. You are the pause between intention and impulse. You are the witness of the storm, not the storm itself. And that silent scream behind your eyes, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you remember what you're capable of. So when tomorrow comes and the fog returns, you might still hesitate. But you'll hesitate with tenderness. Not every battle needs a winner. Some just need you to stay. So, you are the quiet between the pull. Something is quieter now. Not because the noise stopped, but because you're finally hearing the part beneath it. The part that doesn't argue or explain, just waits. It's not pulling you, not even asking, only existing, undeniably, on the edge of your next breath. There's no push here, only the strange stillness of almost ready, that ache of being near something true and not quite touching it. You don't need to name it, you already feel it. A kind of hush inside the chest where the usual voices pause to listen, and somewhere between the inhale and the hesitation you realize you were the only one left in the room, and you're still here, waiting for the second that turns into something else. If this gave you something to feel, maybe tell me who's been louder inside, the one who plans or the one who wants now. And if you'd like to keep walking through these quiet questions, subscribe and we'll keep going together.